Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual on Firstpost. We begin with the latest from the Israel-Hamas war. The International Court of Justice is expected to give an interim ruling on South Africa's allegation that the war in Gaza amounts to genocide against Palestinians. The emergency measure by the World Court could expose Israel to international sanctions. The ICJ order could order Israel to stop its 3-month campaign in the Gaza Strip. ICJ rulings are binding and cannot be appealed against, although the court has no power to enforce them. Ahead of the ICJ ruling, Israel declassified more than 30 secret government and military orders that it says are evidence of its efforts to minimize civilian deaths in Gaza. Israel's move aims to rebut South Africa's case at the ICJ. Earlier, Israel had dismissed South Africa's allegations of a genocide in Gaza, calling them grossly distorted. Hamas says it will abide by International Court of Justice's ruling calling for a ceasefire in Gaza as long as Israel reciprocates. Hamas officials say the group will release all Israeli hostages in Gaza if Israel releases all Palestinian prisoners. It added that any deal must hinge on Israel ending its offensive and siege and withdrawing from the Gaza Strip. The World Health Organization chief Tedros Ghebreyesus called for a ceasefire and called it a true solution to the Israel-Palestinian conflict. The WHO chief made an emotional appeal to stop the war, adding that the conditions in Gaza were hellish. According to reports, the CIA chief and the Israeli intelligence chief will meet Qatar officials for talks on a second potential Gaza hostage deal and a pause in fighting. CIA head William Burns and Mossad chief David Barnea are expected to meet Qatar's Prime Minister and Foreign Minister in Europe this weekend. Sources say Egypt's intelligence chief Abbas Kamil will also be a part of the talks. Meanwhile, Qatar has strongly criticized Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, accusing him of deliberately obstructing ceasefire and talks on hostage deal with Hamas. Qatar's foreign ministry said Netanyahu has been obstructing talks for his personal gains and called his statements irresponsible and destructive. Doha's rebuttal came after Netanyahu allegedly criticized its mediation efforts. According to reports, Chinese officials have reached out to their Iranian counterparts to help rein in attacks by the Houthis on ships in the Red Sea. China reportedly said if the attacks in the Red Sea did not stop, Tehran could risk harming business relations with Beijing. The attacks, which the Houthis say are in support of Gaza, have raised shipping costs and insurance and have disrupted key trade routes between Asia and Europe. On to other top stories. The southern U.S. state of Alabama put to death a convicted murderer using nitrogen gas. This was the first time the controversial method was used. The method has been decried by human rights advocates. 58-year-old Kenneth Smith was on death row for more than 3 decades after being convicted of the 1988 murder for hire of a pastor's wife. Former U.S. President Donald Trump took the witness stand in E. Jean Carroll's second defamation trial against him. This is the first time Trump provided court testimony relating to sexual assault claim against him. However, Trump's testimony lasted less than 5 minutes, where he called the accusations false. Trump has repeatedly called the case a hoax. The United Kingdom has suspended free trade deal talks with Canada after nearly 2 years of negotiations on a post-Brexit agreement. Both sides were miffed about the lack of access to agricultural markets. Canadian farmers complain they've been effectively shut out of the British beef market because of regulations banning the use of hormones. France's top court has said that large parts of a new immigration law must be scrapped. The new law includes restrictions on access to welfare benefits for migrants and to citizenship for their children born in France. Most of the scrapped clauses were introduced by opposition right-wing lawmakers. The ruling comes as a relief to President Emmanuel Macron, who made the bill a key plank of its second term. India marked its 75th Republic Day with a grand parade at the Kartavya Path in the capital, New Delhi. French President Emmanuel Macron was the chief guest for the celebrations. The parade showcased India's military might, highlighting the goal of self-reliance. An array of homegrown weaponry and military equipment were on display. The parade this year was largely women-centric, with an all-women tri-services contingent marching down for the first time. Thousands came out in Sydney to protest Australia's National Day celebrations. The protesters carried out Invasion Day rallies in support of Australia's Indigenous communities. Australia Day marks establishment of New South Wales as a penal colony by the British. Indigenous Australians reject the holiday as marking the start of injustices under colonisation. NASA's Ingenuity Mars helicopter has officially ended its nearly 3-year mission after sustaining rotor damage during its last outing. The Mars helicopter made history by achieving the first powered flight on another world. The tissue box-sized aircraft lifted off the surface in April 2021. On to some climate news now. Tens of thousands of people in Australia's Queensland state were without power after the cyclone Kohli hit. The cyclone has been downgraded to a tropical low after making landfall in Australia. A severe weather warning is still in place for heavy and intense rain. A flood warning has been issued for the southwest region of Chicago City. This comes after authorities spotted an ice jam breakup due to the increasing temperature. The lower part of the Kankakee River is on the brink of flash floods due to the melting ice. Colombia has declared a situation of disaster and calamity due to wildfires in several parts of the country. The government has also asked for help from countries like the UK and Canada. Raging wildfires in Colombia are due to the hot and dry conditions linked to global warming. Colombia has put out at least 204 fires this month. Temperatures in some parts of Spain shot up to 30 degrees Celsius on 25th of January. The temperature was unusually high for a winter month. In around 400 weather stations, the temperature touched nearly 20 degrees Celsius. Rising temperature in winter months in Spain has raised concerns about climate change. Western and northern Japan are witnessing heavy snowfall. The extreme weather has caused widespread disruption in the transport network. Heavy snow paralyzed kilometers-long traffic on roads and highways. The government deployed army troops to help in relief efforts. China's Shanghai city was hit with the year's first cold wave. A yellow alert for low temperature was issued by the weather department. Mercury took a dip of -5 degrees in the suburbs. Railway officials conducted anti-freeze inspections at regular intervals. Moving on to business and tech news, Tesla lost $80 billion worth of market value yesterday. The electric vehicle maker saw its stocks tumble by 12%. This came after CEO Elon Musk warned that Tesla's growth this year was expected to be lower than normal. Amazon Web Services plan to invest $10 billion in the American state of Mississippi. The funds will be used to develop 2 data centers as the firm adopts more artificial intelligence technologies. This comes just a week after Amazon said it would invest $15 billion in Japan for similar data centers. Tech giant Microsoft has announced a fresh round of layoffs. At least 1,900 Activision Blizzard and Xbox staff will face job cuts. This means the firm will cut 8% of its total Microsoft gaming division employees. The news comes just months after Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard for $69 billion. Indian food delivery firm Swiggy has announced a second round of layoffs. Swiggy will let go around 400 staff in a bid to lower costs. Earlier this month, the food delivery business fired 380 employees from its Bengaluru office. The layoffs come at a time when Swiggy is eyeing to list itself on the Indian stock market. Russian President Vladimir Putin has announced that his country will expand their operations in India. Russian oil and gas giant Rosneft will invest more after already spending $23 billion in India last year. Now, Rosneft says it will develop a port and a purchase network of petrol stations. Putin made the announcement of Rosneft's new ventures at a university convocation yesterday. Technology giant Samsung has partnered with Indian delivery startup Blinkit. Now, Samsung's latest flagship phone, the Galaxy S24 series, will be available on the Indian delivery app. According to the South Korean firm, people in India will be able to buy the S24 series while sitting at home, which will get delivered in just 10 minutes. The Blinkit delivery of S24 phones will be available in the Indian cities of Delhi, Mumbai and Bengaluru. Apple iPhone sales have dipped in China by over 2% compared to last year. This comes as sale of phones by Chinese manufacturer Huawei topped the charts. Huawei announced massive discounts on its phones worth almost $70, which undercut the sales of iPhones. Apple continues to face challenges in India, which is its third largest market. This comes after the Chinese government banned its officials from using the iPhone. Meanwhile, Apple will allow software developers to distribute their apps to users in Europe outside of Apple's own App Store. However, the apps will have to be screened by Apple for risks and fraud. Apple will also charge a 27% commission on proceeds of apps on the iPhone not linked from the Apple Store. This comes in response to a new EU law which demands app stores to let their users decide which apps they want on their mobile phones. Apple has released new tools for app developers to begin making apps that users can download from other app stores. Meta platforms will tighten the settings to send messages on Instagram and Facebook. This will be done to prevent minors from directly communicating with unfamiliar users of social media platforms. The big tech firm said that it will safeguard teenagers from unwanted contact. Online streaming firm Netflix will discontinue its cheapest ad-free plan in Canada and the United Kingdom. The plan costs almost $12 and will not be available to customers starting next month. Subscribers will now have to choose between the basic ad-supported plan of $7 or the premium ad-free plan, which will cost $23 per month. Moving on to sports now, and let's start with cricket. Indian batter Virat Kohli was awarded the ICC Men's Player of the Year for 2023. Kohli won the prestigious prize for his outstanding achievements in the ODI format. The batter broke several records last year, including the most centuries in ODI cricket. This was the fourth time that Kohli was honoured with the award. Zimbabwe's Wesley Madavere and Brandon Mavuta have been handed a 4-month ban from international cricket. This is because they've been found guilty of recreational drug use. Zimbabwe's cricket board has also fined both players 50% of their salaries for the next 3 months starting from January. In football, South Korea drew 3-3 with Malaysia in the AFC Asian Cup match last night. After South Korea took a lead in the first half, Malaysia fought back after half-time. The game was 3-2 in favour of Malaysia, then South Korea scored a penalty in injury time. Despite the draw, South Korea have advanced to the knockout stage. They will face Saudi Arabia next on 30th of January. Bahrain beat Jordan 1-0 in last night's AFC Asian Cup group stages. Abdullah Yusuf Halal scored the only goal of the match in the 34th minute. Bahrain next faced Japan in a knockout match on January 31st. Former Manchester United striker Javier Hernandez or Chicharito has returned to his boyhood club. Chicharito will now be seen in the colours of Chivas Guadalajara. The 35-year-old Mexican striker has made the move from an American club, Los Angeles Galaxy. Chicharito says he will play his last leg of football in his home country of Mexico. In tennis, world number 2 Aryna Sabalenka stormed into Australian Open final. Belarusian Sabalenka beat American Coco Gauff 7-6, 6-4 in straight sets. The match lasted 1 hour and 42 minutes. Sabalenka will now defend her Australian Open title on Saturday. China's Qinwen Zheng has entered a Grand Slam final for the first time in her career. Zheng beat Ukraine's Diana Yastremska 6-4, 6-4 in straight sets. The game lasted 1 hour and 42 minutes. Zheng next faces world number 2 Aryna Sabalenka of Belarus in the final. In Formula 1, Charles Leclerc has extended his contract with Ferrari. Leclerc will now race for Ferrari throughout the 2024 season. The financial details of the renewal have not been disclosed yet. Leclerc is the poster boy of Ferrari and became their youngest Grand Prix winner in 2019. India women beat Namibia 7-2 in Hockey Fives tournament. The match was played in Oman's capital Muscat. Right from the start, the Indian attack had Namibia on the back foot. The first goal from India came in just 3rd minute as they piled on 6 more by the 28th minute. Namibia scored both their goals in the second half. India next faced New Zealand in the tournament's quarter-final. In basketball, Golden State Warrior point guard Steph Curry has been snubbed from All-Stars. This is the first time since 2014 that Curry has been kept out of the Western Conference All-Star team. Meanwhile, veteran LeBron James has been included in the squad. The All-Stars is an exhibition match where the best players of Western and Eastern conferences play against each other in a friendly. Christopher Nolan's directorial Oppenheimer finally gets premiere date in Japan. People in Japan will be able to see the film from the 29th of March. The subject of the film, which revolves around the creator of the nuclear bomb, was a trigger for the Japanese people as it was the only country hit by a nuclear bomb during the war. An animated film on the children TV show Bob the Builder is in making, and singer Jennifer Lopez has joined hands with Mattel Films and Shadow Machine to produce it. The story will follow Bob, who travels to an island in Puerto Rico for a construction job. It will celebrate the culture of the Caribbean Latin people. Madonna's agency is ready to vigorously defend a case filed against her. A lawsuit was filed by 2 New York residents who claimed that she started her show 2 hours late. In response to the lawsuit, her agency stated that the show opened on time as planned. A slight delay happened because of a technical issue, which was well documented in press reports as well. Singer Cher's son Elijah Blue Allman stated in court that he can handle himself despite his mother's conservatorship petition. Allman also accused his mother of being abusive towards him. Cher applied in court to become her son's conservator owing to his mental health and substance abuse issues. Rapper 50 Cent took to Instagram to debunk rumors of using slimming drug Ozempic. He set the facts straight by writing that he lost the weight by going to the gym. This comes after reports which stated that he lost over 18 kgs by taking a drug. The organizers of the electronic music festival Tomorrowland have released the lineup for this year's music festival. Over 400 artists will be participating, which include names like David Guetta, Eliza Rose and The Tale of Us. The event will take place in Belgium in July. Israeli actor Adnan Amedi was discharged from hospital after getting wounded in Gaza. The former actor said his team sustained injuries when a bomb went off while they were detonating a Hamas tunnel. Amedi, who has completed his mandatory military service, joined the forces again when the Gaza war began. Actor Robert De Niro spoke about how it feels to be a father in his 80s. He calls the feeling great and says, "Everything that I'm consumed with or worried about just goes away when I look at her." De Niro embraced parenthood with Tiffany Shen in April last year. The first hearing of actor Alec Baldwin's manslaughter case will happen next month. The actor wants a speedy trial to minimize public vilification and suspicion. In early January, Alec Baldwin was charged with involuntary manslaughter after a fatal shooting of a cinematographer in 2021 during the shooting of the film Rust. The actor has stated previously that he did not pull the trigger. Actor Chris Evans, Margaret Qualley and Aubrey Plaza will be seen in the upcoming film Honey Don't. In this dark comedy film, Evans will play the role of a cult leader. The release date is yet to be announced.